let's get into a discussion about the so-called construction mafia. Joined now by Gundo Maswime. Gundo, a very good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time. I mean, you heard the Minister of Public Works as well, touching a bit on, some of the issues related to this particular issue as well, how they've had to, because in instances where it's not about building new projects. I mean, there are projects that get hijacked, and these the mafia is involved there as well in what should be done with those buildings. Just sketch for us, if you will, whether you reckon the government we've gone. It's still early stages, admittedly, but whether you think this time around we are going to go beyond talking on this particular issue.
Yes, thanks, Vuyo. I think the success of any undertaking will definitely depend on whether the problem statement has correctly characterized the issue that we are dealing with. And if you look at this phenomenon, you will realize that it's got variations. It changes form when you go across the provinces. If you come to Western Cape, it's got an aspect of the gang violence that you see in the Cape Flats. If you go to KZN, it's got the phenomenon of hitmen, which has characterized that province. Even further, the fact that in both cases, there's a dimension of people who are sitting in prison, coordinating and planning that these things are being reported to. But there are other things that look like the construction mafia that are not the construction mafia. There are others who do it as a bluff, who do not even have the criminal muscle, if I can put it like that, to really do that undertaking. Then there are instances where our policy gaps have made it impossible for emerging contractors to break into the market. And they go to construction sites with legitimate reasons. And the communities themselves would say, we feel that you have not treated localizing of your expenditure well. And for that reason, we don't think we should continue working on the project. So such cannot be characterized as the construction mafia. So the best way would have been to have a properly researched, comprehensive perspective on the phenomenon itself, so that when action is taken, it is known what aspects of it are being undertaken. The police only investigate criminality. Institutions of higher learning like ours, we do research where we look at the social dynamic, the policy aspects, the implication for the infrastructure development and so on. So I think that relationship will go a long way. And this goes even beyond the Department of Public Works, because the criminal aspect will sit with the police. And if it involves water as well, water affairs will be involved. So we are hoping that there will be the minister is determined to take action. It's encouraging that it's been a theme since he came into office. But the real question will be whether the problem that he will be solving would be adequately and comprehensively characterized.
You're so right, because I'm thinking of one particular instance in Nelson Mandela Bay where, as you suggested, these were, criminal, some of them, certainly, but whether they had the ability to actually do what they were threatening to do was another matter. But what they did, I think, they were very smart on their part, was to work with the politicians who at the time were very keen on displacing the administration that was there. And once they did that with the help of the criminal syndicates, they then obviously became the new councillors, you know. Thereafter, they then raided the coffers of the municipality, then came up with these projects that were supposedly about, you know, cleaning the city, you know, the drains and all of that. And then hell broke loose when then they couldn't agree on how to spend the money. Others were paid and didn't pay others. And then, but the whole thing turned the city upside down, I mean, in the end. But do you think, you were saying in your last point that the police only investigate, I mean, criminality. Now, in instances where there is no direct link or it's not so obvious, who then bears the responsibility to deal with this issue, even in those instances?
Yes, so there are problems that can be characterized as policy problems. That would be within the domain of what the minister should be able to focus on. And for that reason, the issue must be properly researched, and then the policy intervention must be crafted where the policy instruments that are going to be used, is it going to be legislation? Is it going to pass a regulation or a practice note? Then there are challenges that are political, that are not necessarily policy issues, but they are political issues. There is one of the metros actually where the previous ward councillors who did not make it, it was determined that they will be problematic when they're outside and hungry. So they were told to put whatever pension money they have together to buy water tankers. Then it meant that the municipality has an obligation to hire those tankers, and they must hire them at a rate where they should be able to pay the installments on them. So then if you're an official in that environment, and you're coming with a long-term solution on water shortages, what then happens? Because you are now interfering with the livelihood of politicians who are working very closely with the ones that are in office and the ones that are out of office. So an issue like that is not necessarily, if you investigate it from a criminal perspective, you may not get very far. So we have to use the right tools. If we only have a hammer, we'll make every problem look like a nail.
Gundo Maswime, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. He's from the University of Cape Town's Civil Engineering Department.